Do you know someone who spent years trying to escape their bad habits, only to circle back every time? They make promises. They swear this attempt is different. They say they'll stop overeating, stop delaying everything, stop self-destructing. And for a moment, they mean it. But then pressure builds. Work gets heavy. Life interrupts. A few missed days turn into a full collapse, and suddenly they're standing exactly where they started. You see this pattern clearly with weight loss. Someone decides they've had enough. They cut out everything at once: sugar, carbs, comfort food. They wake up early. They train daily. They push hard. At first, it feels powerful. Then reality arrives. Deadlines. Family. Exhaustion. One skipped workout becomes two. One excuse becomes a habit. And the plan doesn't just fail, it backfires. If we're honest, that person might be you. But what if the real problem isn't willpower, discipline, or motivation? What if the problem is the approach? What I'm about to share isn't dramatic. It isn't exciting. And it completely disagrees with the change your life in 30 days mindset. It's slow. It's boring. And it works. Before we continue, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment below one habit you want to fix. This channel exists because of your real struggles. Today's example focuses on weight, but the method applies to anything. Let's begin. Chapter 1. When avoidance breaks, let me tell you about a man named Adam. Adam was in his early 40s. He weighed well over 130 kilos. And without noticing, his health had been slipping for years. He wasn't careless. He wasn't lazy. He worked long shifts managing inventory at a warehouse. His mornings started early. His evenings ended late. He had a family to support and responsibilities that never paused. Food happened automatically. Breakfast in the car. Lunch at a desk. Dinner on the couch. His body tried to warn him. Stairs left him breathless. Shoelaces felt like a challenge. Playing with his kids felt exhausting. But the moment that stayed with him wasn't physical. It was when his daughter stopped asking him to play. She didn't complain. She didn't argue. She just learned something quietly: Dad doesn't do that. Adam noticed, and it hurt. He had tried before. Gyms, diets, morning runs. Each attempt ended the same way. Eventually he stopped fighting. This is just how I am. I don't have time. It's probably genetic. Until one weekend afternoon, Adam sat in the yard while his son played nearby. The ball rolled away. Dad, can you grab it? Adam stood up, bent down, and couldn't stand back up. Nothing broke. Nothing snapped. His body simply couldn't lift itself. He stayed there, struggling, breathing heavily while his son watched. A neighbor eventually came to help. That night Adam cried. Not because of embarrassment, but because his child had seen him powerless. A memory had been formed. And that changed everything. Chapter 2. A different kind of help. The next morning, Adam reached out to an old friend, someone who had lost weight and kept it off. How did you do it? Adam asked. Was it medication? Surgery? The friend shook his head. I did see a specialist, he said, but he didn't give me rules. He gave me a system. A week later, Adam sat in a simple consultation room. No machines. No charts. No pressure. The man across from him introduced himself calmly. Dr. Sato, he said. Tell me what's been happening. Adam spoke about the weight, the exhaustion, the shame, the moment with his son. When he finished, the doctor asked one question. How many times have you tried to change everything at once? Adam paused. Every time. The doctor nodded. That's why it never lasted. And how long did those changes last? The doctor asked. Adam exhaled. A few weeks. Sometimes a month. Never longer. The doctor nodded slowly. And why do you think they failed? Adam began reciting the usual answers. Stress, lack of time, genetics, a slow metabolism. The doctor raised his hand gently. No. They failed because you tried to erase decades of behavior in a handful of days. Your body didn't reach this state overnight. Your habits didn't grow suddenly. Yet every time, you demanded immediate results. Silence filled the room. Then the doctor leaned back. I want to suggest something different, he said. I'm going to ask you to change just one thing. It will sound pointless, almost insulting in its simplicity. Are you willing to do it? Adam didn't pause. Yes. Tomorrow morning, the doctor said, when you wake up, drink one full glass of water. Before your phone. Before food. Before thinking. That's it. Adam waited. Nothing else followed. One glass. Every morning. For 14 days. No additional rules. That's all? Adam asked. I need to lose a lot of weight. The doctor met his eyes. The water won't change your body, he said, but it will repair something that's been broken for a long time, your trust in yourself. Right now that matters more. Adam left unsettled, slightly irritated. He hadn't expected such a simple instruction. But one sentence stayed with him all night: trust in yourself. That evening, he placed a glass of water beside his bed. At 5 a.m. the alarm rang. He saw the glass. He drank it. The next day he did the same. Then again. By the end of the first week, something shifted. He woke up already aware of the habit, not forcing it, not debating it, expecting it. 2 weeks later he returned. Did you miss a day? The doctor asked. No. And what changed? Adam hesitated. I feel ridiculous saying this. I didn't lose weight, but I didn't quit. For once I actually followed through. The doctor smiled. That's the foundation, he said. Small, repeatable actions create momentum. You didn't challenge your limits. You proved reliability. But it was just water. It was never about water, the doctor replied. It was about teaching your nervous system that consistency is safe. He paused. Are you ready to build on it? Adam nodded. Keep the water, the doctor said. Now, when you eat, serve yourself less than usual. Not starving portions, just slightly reduced. Eat slowly. After 20 minutes, if your body still asks for more, you may eat again. It sounded almost laughable. But 14 days of consistency had changed something. I'll try, Adam said. We'll talk again in 3 weeks. Chapter 3. What was actually happening? Adam didn't understand it at the time, but he wasn't just changing habits. He was restoring self-respect. These steps weren't random. They were deliberately small, designed to create success instead of resistance. Each action was a quiet signal to the brain. I can be trusted. This is how lasting change works. You don't leap forward. You move slightly and then you repeat it. Even tiny improvements compound. Not linearly, exponentially. When progress feels manageable, it continues. And when it continues, identity shifts. The reduced portions were difficult at first. He'd finish eating and feel restless, uncomfortable, unsatisfied. His instinct screamed for more. But he followed the rule: wait. And most days the hunger faded. Not because he was deprived, but because his body finally had time to speak. Without labeling it, the doctor was guiding him toward moderation. Eating until satisfaction, not excess. Allowing signals to arrive before reacting. By the next visit, Adam had lost a few kilos. That's not the victory, the doctor said. Direction is. For the first time in years, you're moving the right way. I feel steadier, Adam admitted. More in control. Good, the doctor replied. Now we introduce movement, gently. Each morning after the water, Adam was asked to walk from his front door to the end of the street, and back. That's barely anything, Adam laughed. That's intentional, the doctor said. The goal isn't fitness. It's reminding your body that movement belongs in your life. So he did it. Water. Smaller portions. Short walks. On the third morning, his daughter noticed. Can I come with you? She asked. They walked together. She talked. He listened. When they returned home, she looked up at him and said, let's do this again tomorrow. And for the first time in years, Adam didn't feel tired. The following week, Adam walked to the small shop at the end of the street. Not because it was part of the plan, but because his daughter asked him to come along. And for the first time in years, he noticed something strange. No sharp pain in his lower back. No burning in his lungs. No self-conscious glances at the ground. Just movement. By the end of the second month, he was lighter by several kilos. But the real shift couldn't be measured. It was in how he looked at the world, and how the world looked back at him. There was alertness in his eyes now. Presence. Awareness. At his next appointment, the doctor asked a simple question. Why are you doing this? Adam answered automatically. To lose weight. The doctor tilted his head. That's the surface answer. Try again. Adam stayed quiet longer this time. I want to be around, he said finally. I want to watch my kids grow. I want energy for my wife. I don't want my life to feel smaller every year. I want to respect the man in the mirror again. The doctor smiled gently. That's your reason, he said. Not weight loss, meaning? In Japanese thought, it's believed that everyone has a core reason that pulls them forward. Not a goal, but a direction. And Adam's had nothing to do with numbers. From that moment on, effort felt different. When mornings felt heavy, he didn't think about willpower. He thought about walking beside his daughter. When his hand hovered over a full plate, he didn't calculate calories. He thought about being present years from now. Motivation fades. Meaning endures. Chapter 4. When progress wobbles 3 months in, Adam had lost a noticeable amount of weight. His clothes loosened. People started asking questions. He answered the same way every time. Nothing extreme. Just consistency. Then came a family gathering. Food everywhere. Familiar smells. Old habits waiting quietly. Adam served himself modestly, as he'd learned. Someone noticed. That's it. Another joked. Relax. One day won't undo everything. This is where most change breaks. Not from hunger, but from social gravity. People prefer you unchanged. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. Adam gave in. He ate more than planned. Then more. That old heaviness returned, not just in his stomach but in his chest. Standing alone later that night, the familiar voice whispered, "Here it is. The collapse. This is where you stop." The next morning he didn't want to continue. Skipping felt logical. Justified. Then a sentence from the doctor surfaced, one that hadn't made sense before. "You will slip. And that moment will reveal who you are now." Adam sent a message. "I messed up. I feel like I undid everything. I'm not sure I can keep going." The response was short. "Come in today." Adam expected disappointment. Correction. Rules. None came. Instead, the doctor asked, "What did you do this morning?" "I drank the water," Adam said. "And I walked." The doctor nodded. "Then you're still practicing." "There's a difference," he explained, "between stopping and stumbling. You lost balance. You didn't abandon the path." Then he introduced an idea. In Japanese philosophy, there's deep respect for imperfection. The understanding that nothing meaningful is flawless, nothing stays fixed, and nothing is ever truly finished. Imperfection isn't failure. It's evidence of being alive. One heavy meal, the doctor said, doesn't erase months of effort. It doesn't cancel trust. It doesn't reset you to zero. Growth isn't fragile, he added. Ego is. Adam felt something loosen inside him. "But what if it happens again?" he asked. "It will," the doctor said calmly. "Many times. The difference now is what you do the next day." Practice, he explained, isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about returning, again and again. Then he spoke of endurance. The quiet strength of continuing even when enthusiasm disappears. "You showed it today," he said. "You didn't feel strong. You moved anyway." In the months that followed, Adam slipped again. At a birthday. During stressful weeks. On quiet weekends when comfort called. But each time he returned. Water in the morning. Measured portions. Movement. And something unexpected happened. The slips lost their power. They were smaller. Shorter. Less dramatic. Because his mind had learned a new rule. We don't quit. We resume. By the 6th month, the weight loss was significant. But the real moment came quietly. Sitting on the floor playing with his kids. Then standing up without effort. Agreeing to an evening walk without hesitation. Chasing laughter across the yard, breathless in a good way. From inside the house, his wife watched. And smiled. Not because of his body. But because the man she knew was present again. Chapter 5. The question that remains 9 months in, Adam was lighter by more than 30 kilos. But that wasn't the question anymore. The question was, who am I becoming? One small decision at a time. Adam no longer stopped at the end of the street. He walked every day, sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes longer. Not because he forced himself, but because his body expected it. He no longer measured food carefully either. He simply stopped craving excess. But the most important change wasn't visible. It was internal. At one appointment, the doctor asked him, "When was the last time you seriously thought about quitting?" Adam searched his memory. "Days ago? Weeks? I honestly don't know," he said. The doctor smiled. "That's because you stopped trying to become someone else and started behaving as who you already are. This isn't effort anymore," he continued. "It's identity. You're not a man attempting self-control. You're a man who lives with care. That's the difference between short-term progress and lasting change." The doctor took out a blank page and drew several circles, connected but not rigid. "Everything you've practiced fits here," he said. Meaning, knowing why your life matters. Incremental growth, improving just enough to continue. Moderation, stopping before excess. Acceptance, allowing imperfection without collapse. And endurance, he added. You fell more times than you remember, and every time you returned. That quiet persistence is what carried you. Adam looked at the page. "This explains everything," he said. "You can keep it," the doctor replied. "Just remember, this isn't about health alone. It's a framework for living. Anywhere you apply it, change will follow. Chapter 6. Evidence. A year after his first visit, Adam finally went for routine tests, something he'd avoided for years. When the physician returned, she looked surprised. These results are significantly better, she said. Blood sugar. All improved. What did you change? She asked. Adam smiled. I started doing small things consistently. She nodded, still puzzled. Adam understood what she couldn't see. One action never changes a life. Repetition does. A single walk means nothing. Hundreds reshape a body. One decision seems insignificant, until it becomes a pattern. That afternoon, Adam stood in front of the mirror. No perfection. No ideal physique. Loose skin. Imperfections. But no shame. He saw someone who had honored himself, quietly, every day for a year. By the 18th month, the weight loss stabilized. He wasn't chasing numbers anymore. He was healthy, capable, present. At his daughter's birthday, the kids ran through the park, and Adam ran with them, laughing, breathing hard, alive. Another parent asked casually, "How did you pull this off?" Adam didn't explain systems or theories. "One step at a time," he said, and then repeating it. That night, his wife lay beside him and spoke softly. "You know what changed the most?" she asked. "My body," he guessed. "No," she said. "You came back. You were here before, but not with us. Now you are." Adam squeezed her hand. "I almost quit so many times." "But you didn't," she replied. And that was the truth. What the science confirms, modern research supports what Adam experienced. People don't fail because they lack strength. They fail because they attempt too much, too fast. The brain treats drastic change as danger. Small adjustments pass unnoticed and rewire behavior quietly. Long-living communities across the world follow similar patterns. Daily movement, moderation, clear purpose, acceptance of imperfection, persistence without drama. Neuroscience explains why this works. Willpower drains. Identity doesn't. When behavior becomes who you are, not something you force, it sustains itself. Adam didn't stop growing after his body changed. In the following years, he applied gradual improvement to his work and advanced. He applied presence to his marriage and deepened it. He applied patience to parenting and became available. One day his daughter said, "I remember when you couldn't play with me, but what I remember most is when you started walking with me every morning." That's when everything felt different. Adam understood then. His change wasn't isolated. When one person changes visibly, they don't motivate others. They give permission. His son began exercising on his own. His wife developed her own quiet routines, not inspired by speeches, but by example. And it all began with something so small it felt meaningless. A single glass of water. Chapter 7. The system. Lived 2 years later, Adam's weight remained steady. Not because of discipline, because his life had a new shape. He still drinks water every morning. He still moves daily. He still stops before excess. Not because he's following rules, because that's who he is now. You don't need intensity. You don't need perfection. You need one promise small enough to keep, and the courage to return when you don't. That's the system. What surprised everyone most was this. Adam didn't stop at fixing himself. He started helping others, quietly. At work, people noticed the difference. The weight loss, yes, but more than that, the calm. They asked the same question every time. "How did you actually do it?" Adam never gave a long explanation. Instead, he asked something back. "What's the smallest change you could make today?" They usually answered with confidence. "I'll start going to the gym. I'll cut everything unhealthy." Adam would shake his head. "Smaller." They'd pause. "Like what?" "Drink a glass of water when you wake up." They laughed. "That's it. That's it," he said. "Do it for 2 weeks. Then come talk to me." Most never returned. They were still searching for dramatic answers, fast results, perfect plans, instant proof. But a few always came back, and they all said something similar. "I didn't change much, but I kept the promise. And something feels different." Adam knew immediately. This one understood. Not long after, the doctor retired. At their final meeting, he said something Adam never forgot. "You know I was never the solution, right?" Adam shook his head. "I couldn't even stand properly when I came to you." "Physically, yes," the doctor replied. "But mentally, you stood up every day of your life. You worked. You provided. You endured discomfort without disappearing. You always had endurance," he said softly. "You just didn't recognize it." Adam felt his throat tighten. "So I didn't need fixing?" "No, the doctor said. You needed a system that respected reality, one that allowed fatigue, mistakes, humanity, and still moved forward. These ideas were never about becoming flawless, he continued. They were about continuing. Adam hugged him, not because the man had changed his body, but because he had returned his life. Chapter 8. What remains. Two photographs hang in Adam's living room. The first shows him years ago, heavier, sitting alone while his children played nearby, present in body, absent in spirit. The second hangs beside it. He's on the floor building something with his son. His daughter is climbing onto his back. Everyone is laughing. His wife took that photo without telling him. When he asked why, she said, "Because this is when you came back." But here's the truth. The most important outcome wasn't the weight loss. It wasn't improved health markers. It wasn't career progress. It was this. Adam's daughter, now older, once told someone, "My dad is the most disciplined person I know." Not because he trained hard, not because he followed strict rules, but because she watched him do small things, every day. Water in the morning, movement without drama, falling and returning. She learned something most adults never do. Change doesn't come from motivation. It comes from identity. And one day, when life becomes heavy, she'll remember. She'll remember that her father proved something quietly. That change is possible, one choice at a time, for as long as it takes. That is legacy. Not a transformed body, but living proof that a person can become who they choose, patiently, steadily, without spectacle. Now let me ask you something. You stayed until the end. That means something in this story touched you. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's addiction. Maybe it's the quiet sense that your life isn't aligned. You might be thinking, this wouldn't work for me. My situation is harder. You're right. Your situation is different. But the system is the same. The issue has never been knowledge. You already know what to do. The problem is that you're trying to do everything immediately. You're trying to become a new person overnight. You're fighting years of patterns with days of effort. That's why it keeps breaking. Real change isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It moves slowly, and it stays. So here's the challenge. Choose one action. Make it almost laughably small. So small it feels beneath you. So small you can't reasonably avoid it. A glass of water after waking. 5 push-ups before bed. 1 quiet minute. 1 page. Anything. The rule is simple. It must be small enough to keep, even on bad days. Do that one thing for 14 days. Nothing more. No stacking. No rushing. When day 14 arrives, you won't have proven that your life is fixed. You'll have proven something more important, that you can trust yourself again. And once trust returns, change becomes natural. 1 promise becomes 2. 2 become identity. And eventually you're no longer trying to change. You're changed. Not by force. Not by motivation. But by repetition. Time will pass anyway. The question is, who will you be when it does? If this helped you, write 1 small action you'll take tomorrow. Not your entire plan. Just the first step. Because written commitment turns intention into reality. You don't need perfection. You need return. Thank you for staying. Until next time, stay present, move with integrity, and walk your path with honor.